Well, no, I don't know about that.
Just think about
Lance
all the
Sweeper,
available.
Just me wishful thinking. It's fine.
Yeah,
There's going to be a ton
He
of available
said-
hardware to upgrade out there. People
He
abandon
said-
them means.
that even if enterprises are prepared to upgrade their PC fleet to meet the system requirements of Microsoft's latest OS, there are broader issues affecting adoptions that are out of Microsoft's control. Global supply chain disruption has created a processor shortage, while many are choosing to stick with what hardware they have at the moment due to the global financial uncertainty. So a lot of people will stay with Windows 10. I'm sure Microsoft would like to do away with Windows 10 also. So there was another article that said that Microsoft is probably going to have to do something about easing the requirements.
No.
We'll see.
No, they just need to wait a bit, and the numbers will go down and down because more new hardware will come in. And when it gets to below 25%, they'll kill Windows 10, and that's it. That's what they need to do.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's how long Windows 11 been out now? 2 years?
I don't know, but I mean, it had a lot of iterations in between, right?
Yeah.
It
We'll
just
see.
sucks for Microsoft, but you want to be the number one operating system on desktops, right? Then this is what you need to deal with.
Right.
There are phones that are still running Android 3 out there, right? It's like,
But are they being updated though? I mean,
no, they're not.
Right.
Right? Well, I mean, there are open source projects where you can replace the OS after you replace the boot loader and stuff, but most people don't do that, right? So, yeah, the reality is you produce something and spread it. I mean, make an effort, right? In being number one. You cannot be number one just by existing. It's always an effort. And this is the result, and this is the price that needs to be paid. And if it's going to eat up some margins on Microsoft, I'm not going to be too sad for them. They just need to keep it up. That's all.
Sad.
I mean, I'm a consumer here. I'm not a stockholder, right? And I don't think this should be measured by.
How dare you not? Hold on a second. How dare you not carry the weight in water for Microsoft, Gal? How dare you?
I am. I'm using their OS. I paid for it. I want to keep on using it. I am the consumer. I think I am more important than the stockholder. The problem is the market thinks differently, right? That's the problem. Everything about market reporting, right, is about the performance of the stock, which has nothing to do with how the company is performing. And as a consumer, I am pissed off time and time and time again about that, right? So I don't count. I am the one that brought you to the point where you could present yourself to the stock market, right? So I don't count. That's what pisses me off.
Oh.
Does Windows 11
and I'm supposed to be the voice of reason in this show, right?
Now,
we didn't. No. We didn't say you're the voice of reason. We said you're
balance.
You're the balance.
I bring the balance. Yeah, sorry.
We're the malcontents.
This is part of a pre-show discussion we had. So sorry for the inside joke.
Does Windows 11 support an external USB TPM?
Yeah, I don't know about USB, but it does support. If you have the proper hardware, then I don't know about USB.
It is USB because some of the TPM chips actually use a USB 2 header on the motherboard. If you have a desktop, they actually plug into the little header, and that's what gets you the TPM. Now, I don't know if they make external TPM USB like flash drives.
But they do.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
it's what a lot of people used for authentication was if they didn't have TPM built in, they used an external which was also a key. So,
Yeah,
You
looking
can
at,
install Windows 11 without TPM,
oh, I
You can,
realize,
right?
yeah,
It
but
just
it's not-
doesn't pass the test, and you need to go through like a manual installation, but you can install it, right? So I'm guessing yes, they support TPM too on external devices.
I was just wondering if, from a corporate perspective, if they had a whole inventory of machines that didn't support it, they could potentially use a tiny USB TPM.
Well, when
Well,
you
here's
say,
all the
I'm sure they can.
here's the modules that are sold by the various manufacturers that I believe use USB headers. So you can see here's one for an MSI motherboard and the Asus motherboard and ASRock, a whole bunch of different
go back
devices.
up. Go back up. What? No, to the second one. Wait, these are 2020. Oh, and that's one is. Oh, it's 23. I thought it was 73. Never mind.
No, I mean they're
So what?
relatively cheap,
Yeah.
and I believe they go on a USB header.
Yeah, I'm looking at one. MSI makes a TPM module for you with a USB header. It's $27.
Okay, then yeah. Actually, looks like maybe depending on the motherboard you have, it looks like there are some motherboards might have a TPM header built in. I'm not really sure. It's going to depend on the.
What's
it's
the
going to depend on
minimum
the device.
minimum TPM version for Windows 11?
2.0.
Yeah, so that's fine. We got
Where-
a ton of them here on
Yeah.
looking online. There's all kinds of.
Where else would you need? Why else would you need a TPM module?
A lot of places have authentication. Like for example, if you have
Encryption.
like a fingerprint scanner, for example, like Spence,
Oh.
does your laptop have the fingerprint to unlock it?
My older Lenovo does, yeah.
Your new Lenovo doesn't.
No.
Okay, so mine does, and it's on the power button. That is handled through TPM. That's how
Okay.
they handle the.
Okay. So
encryption.
I was
My-
going to say that's another industry that just Windows 11 brought up, but it's not.
My
No, because the
financial-
medical industry
Okay.
with key cards and all that stuff
Okay.
used TPM for years.
Okay.
My financial planner for years has used an external TPM module for authentication for his laptop to get into their
Okay.
into the network for the company he works for.
All I know that every time I do updates on this machine here, which is the newest one that I have, and it's a ninth generation. It says it's not ready for Windows 11. So
Yeah,
Because
it
of
doesn't have
TPM, I think ninth generations have TPM 2 baked in.
well, I don't know what else it could be, but I never even tried it. I
So
said, no, it's working.
TPM 2 was introduced around the 4th or 5th generation of iCore. So
It's fine. It doesn't bother me. Windows 10 works fine.
Oh, am not.
I know why they're laughing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ.
You ready?
Windows
I always
XP
say
all
this,
over again.
and I love you to death, but you are the problem that Microsoft
Yeah, I
has.
know,
You
that's
are
fine.
the problem.
You mean I have to update this XP machine?
I can say this, Amnon. I'm pretty sure that the machine I'm running on didn't qualify for the automatic update through Windows updates,
Uh-huh.
but I did install it through the USB, and there is zero problems.
Okay.
If you go over to
And
Amnon's house,
on top of that, I hacked the machine. So remember, I complained about the toolbar not being able to move to
Mhm.
the side and stuff. So I did lose some eye candy from Windows 11 to do that, but I activated like an old module in the OS that allows that. And I'm using open, what's it called? Open classic open shell menu for the start menu, because otherwise those don't work. The Windows 11 ones doesn't work because of and no problems. So
Well,
I can tell you it's worth working on an OS that the production side of it, right, is taken care of. Updates and stuff like that. So
if you go
Well,
over
I've
to
got a question
Amnon's-
for Spence.
Go ahead.
On your laptop that you just got, you had to use a Windows account, correct?
You could load it with a local user.
Yours let you do that?
I didn't do it.
But it gave you the option
I
to?
didn't think
I think
11
so.
lets you.
no, I didn't. It
shouldn't
Windows
have. I was
11, it
curious. Okay, but so you did use it with an account and everything
did.
worked fine.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember now. I'm trying to remember if it prompted me to for a local user.
I mean,
It
even
might-
It's
did not.
if it's there, it's hidden. You got to search. for
even
it.
Windows 10 now does not want you to do
It
it.
does.
You
Windows
go
10,
around.
you can
Pro.
find it, but you have
No,
to
if
say I
you
don't
if you
have
disconnect
a
it from the
login.
network
Right.
during
No,
setup,
no. I understand. But that's what I'm saying. But if you do it the normal way, that
it won't show it.
it will not
Won't show it.
let you do it.
Yeah.
You have to
But
disconnect.
Windows
from the
11
Ethernet.
Pro the same.
Oh, so if you disconnect it,
Only if
though.
you disconnect,
Yeah.
you get the option of
Okay.
using a local.
okay.
No.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I had to install Windows on a machine, reinstall Windows, and it was Windows Home. And then I found out that Marshall needed it to be Pro because Pro was on it. So I actually went ahead and instead of using the CD, I let it do a recovery from, and it was still home. He had it upgraded, and then I went and I said, "Okay, so how do you upgrade?" I never did that, and I said, "All you need to do is put a
Run the
key,
setup.
yeah, just a key."
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
And did that, and it took about maybe 1 minute, and bam, said, "Okay, there's Windows 11 Pro." So he had the key for his Windows 10, sorry, 10 Pro, and sent it to me, and I put it in.
But there's a bunch of services and stuff
It
that needs to
did-
be
it did
installed.
Everything, it did everything.
Interesting.
All I did is I said, you go into the settings, and there's something there about upgrade.
Yeah.
And you click it, and it asks you for the key, and you put it in, and it goes ahead and does it.
Maybe
It
does
did
everything in the
download. It did
background.
download stuff. I mean,
Okay.
it's not like it just bam switch it like the Windows S to Windows Home. No, it did get on the internet and downloaded stuff and did stuff, but it took about a minute. It didn't do much, and that was it.
It doesn't need to do much, but there are a bunch of services that it needs to install
Yeah.
that weren't there
Yeah.
before. So
So yeah, I was surprised at that.
And maybe it just does it
Anyway.
in the background.
Anyway, Nick,
Uh,
you ready for specials?
I guess so.
Oh no, he does. He's not. Okay, let's.
Yes. Yes.
I was going to say, before we start that, I wanted to say that Amnon's house, if you go to his office, is the only office I've ever seen with claw marks on everything because you can't drag him into the future. He's constantly holding on to everything. I won't do this.
They're
until I have to."
nailed. They're nailed. All right.
So we know that it's tough right now to be a white male. It's a really tough state of affairs right now. So instead of having a girlfriend, why not go on a fancy date with your brand new 4090 video card? Again, women are a lot of work. They're a huge pain in the ass. And with this, you spend like $1,100 or $1,200 on a video card, and you have a nice date. I mean, have a burger, a drink, some looks like some onion rings or maybe some curly fries. I mean, this looks like heaven to me.
System
so I
board
think-
doesn't eat much, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the only thing you can do with it, right? Because it doesn't fit most cases anyway.
No, it doesn't fit most cases. And again, it's an upfront cost. It costs a lot more, but in the long term, having a girlfriend or a wife is a lot more expensive than a Zotac 4090 graphics card. So
What's his name? What's his name? Because I have a case with a Maxi
Her name, you mean?
footprint. No, I mean the guy who's there. I can sell him.
I'm not sure. This is definitely in. This looks like
Korea.
it's in somewhere either in Korea or in China or Japan.
Well, I think Korea
Based on the
and
cars.
Japan have already embedded in its culture the concept of dating inanimate
they have.
objects.
True.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah. All right.
So-
Let's get on the specials here.
It's worse than that, though.
Gateway has had
This is
a
family
whole bunch.
show.
Gateway has had a whole bunch of computers over the past couple of weeks. I don't know what is going on in terms of Who
What?
owns them? Dell?
No,
Is it
Acer.
No,
Dell
I
or-
don't think so.
Somebody owns Gateway. If somebody can
Acer.
look it up.
Acer.
I don't know who owns Gateway, but over the last like month and a half, all of a sudden I've seen a lot of these which are pretty sleek looking computers coming available. Predominantly, I've only seen them at Walmart, so I'm not sure if they've got a deal to just distribute through there. But this is a Gateway 15.6 inch, so it's a large laptop. They're calling it their Ultra Slim. It's running on 11th gen Core i5 35G7. It's got the latest Intel Iris Xe graphics, 512 gigabytes worth of SSD storage, 16 gigs of RAM, a fingerprint scanner, a USB-C port. It doesn't charge on USB-C, but it does have a USB-C port, and as well as a micro SD and some other things on it for a very, very low price of just $349, available over at Walmart.
But Nick, it has a deal breaker there.
Mm.
It says it has Cortana.
It does have Cortana. Fortunately, Bulk Crap on Installer, I believe, can solve that for you. So yeah, this is a nice computer. It's got a full it's got a numpad built into it, which is not always the case on 15-inch laptops. Again, for $350, it's a pretty hard device to beat for the price.
Maybe it has to do with them having a large inventory of Windows 10 only machines. That they planned on buying, and they got them, and now it's like, well, that's not our market anymore.
First of all, it's 11th gen, right? It's the previous generation.
It is.
So it's definitely dumping of stock. But 16 gigabytes, 512 SSD, and an i5 from the previous generation, right? On a laptop, this is potentially a fantastic, and excuse me the pun, a gateway device for self-hosting and home automation.
Yeah.
Right. Because it has the power to run virtualized stuff. You can slap on Linux if you don't want the Windows on it, and it can run anything, and it isn't power hungry like a server, right? So this is a great deal.
I wonder at what price does the num keys come at? I mean, are the keys,
It has numpad.
It has one. I know. That's what I'm saying. I wonder at what price. Are the keys smaller on the keyboard itself?
It's
No,
a 15.6 inch,
well,
so they're probably a
wide
little
enough.
bit smaller, but it's not a 14 inch. Now, I will say this. Look, I looked at the reviews on this last night when I was doing specials, and there are some quality issues, but that's to be
come
expected
on.
from a computer of this price.
Yeah.
So if you're expecting some, sleek aluminum-bodied computer with that isn't cheap plastic, then this is not your thing. But for, again, $350, pretty hard to beat.
Right.
And that's available over at Walmart. So we'll continue with the gateways as they're available. So here's another computer for the same price. This one is bigger though, and it's got less specs, but it's a larger screen, and it's a little bit more of a reputable brand in terms of build quality. This is the Asus VivoBook 17. This thing is a big boy, 17.3 inch screen. It's running a Core i3 11th gen 1115 G4, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes worth of SSD, but it does come with Windows 11. The build quality in this is a little bit sleeker. Performance is a little bit less, but it is a much larger computer, and it looks like it's looks like it's more of aluminum than it is plastic. So you can check that over at Walmart as well for the same price, $349. All right, next up is arguably the best deal that we've ever had on specials. This is the mouse I've used every day for years. I have 2 spares in the box in the closet because I love this mouse so much. This is the Logitech G600. It is what Logitech calls an MMO mouse, for a massive multiplayer online, because as you can see on the side profile, it has 12 buttons on the side of the mouse. So this thing was originally conceived back in the day of World of Warcraft and Dota and some of these other MMOs that required fast key bindings and things like this. I use this for a whole bunch of things: Control-C, Control-V commands. I have macros that I have set up on this for various things like pasting and things of that nature. This is normally a $45 mouse on Amazon, and it's on sale for just $19.99. I am the biggest fan of this thing. I've got 2 ready to go in case I have any problems. It's available over at Staples. Highly, highly recommend this mouse. And you can do a lot of really cool stuff with those 12 programmable buttons on the side. So
what kind of special training do you need to learn how to use the 12 buttons on the side?
it's a little weird. I will admit it. When I first got it, I've had it for a couple of years. When I first got it, it was odd. I was constantly, because it's where your thumb is. So I was always pressing keys when I didn't mean to. But after using it for a while, you figure out how to use it. And again, I've got a lot of really cool stuff that I've been able to do with it. So cool mouse, phenomenal price at $19.
How can
Available.
you manage?
I would imagine, try to think about how it would be if you had your on the side with your fingers, not your thumb. It'd be really hard.
It would be.
Because what finger do I press what key with?
True.
Oh,
Nick,
man.
what happens when you're using a regular mouse? Are you
What do you
getting
mean?
frustrated because you keep
Yeah,
using-
absolutely. Yeah, because like, for example, I have Control C, Control V, and Enter mapped to buttons 1, 2, and 3. So when I'm copying and pasting stuff, my hand doesn't leave the mouse.
Mhm.
And then when I'm on a laptop or something like that, it's more steps. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm incapable of using a computer without it. But if you're doing a lot of things, especially data entry or constantly moving things back and forth between programs, it's a pretty hard. It's a phenomenal mouse. It's a great mouse at $45. It's a steal of a deal at $19. So that's available over at Staples. Next up, this is a phenomenal steal of a deal as well. Here's a Philips Hue 75 watt white and RGB pack of lights, 4 of them. Now,
75 watts. So
Yes.
what's the equivalent bulb then? That's not equivalent.
No.
That's
It's equivalent to
That's the
75.
wattage?
No,
Or is
no,
that
it's
the
equivalent to 75 watts.
I looked at the specs. It doesn't say that.
Yeah, they usually
doesn't say that.
sell it as the equivalent of 60 watts.
Well, it says
so
wattage,
75 watts is good. I usually buy 100
that's-
watts equivalent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So this is the higher. I looked this up on Amazon. They sell a 60 and a 55 watt version of this bulb as well. So I believe this is one of the highest wattages you can get. This pack is $190 on Amazon for four of these. The cool thing about them, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, you can use them with the Philips Hue Bridge or some other device, but you don't have to. You can connect these via Bluetooth as well. So if you're trying to maybe put these in an outdoor light setting, or well, not outdoor, but a setting in which you don't have a full home automation system or a hub, you can control these from your phone, which is pretty cool. So you're saving like $70 or $80 on this in comparison to what you'd pay on Amazon.
And
And
the
that's
form-
available over at Costco.
The form factor of this is not a standard par, because it's got, see how this is a standard par bulb? It's the actual surface area of the actual lit bulb is much bigger than this. It extends below. It's a really nice bulb.
no, I think it's different than what you're holding.
It is different. It's a regular A19.
Oh, it is an A19.
Yeah.
This-
Yeah, it is an
Now,
A19.
wait a minute. The picture they show.
This is it.
Switch
All right.
over, Emma.
Okay. But this picture that they show below it on the product details, if you go to the
Yeah, these,
Costco,
these
page,
are these are the.
is not the bulb.
No, this is the
Yeah.
bulb. This is the
Okay.
bulb in the picture.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at. Well, it shows it in a.
I see what
It
Spence is
looks a
talking
bit.
about.
Doesn't
Yeah.
look like it.
They look it looks like they're in some sort of weird can thing
Yeah,
that are giving this weird diffusion thing. That is very misleading. That's not a good picture to have on there.
Okay.
Well, it makes
well.
the bulb look huge. But yeah, so that's
This
available
is
over at
great.
Costco. $100.
I'll definitely pick up those.
$25 a bulb, pretty hard to beat. All right, next up, televisions. If you are not a fan of Roku TV or Fire TV and you're a Google TV guy or gal, here's a pretty good deal. This is a TCL 50-inch. This is their 4K. It supports UHD and HDR, and it's got Google TV instead of, as I mentioned, some of those other smart backups. The device itself has got a USB port. It's got Ethernet as well. It has an eARC port, which is nice to see on a cheaper TV like this, so you can use it with a sound bar. 3 HDMIs in total, one of them being eARC. An antenna input. Also, supports AV in through an adapter, which is nice to connect an older device. It's got a headphone out and an optical. This is very similar to a TCL we looked at last week. That one was a Roku TV. This one is a Google TV. And you can check this out for $218, save 22% over at Amazon. Next up, if you are a Mac user, and actually, you don't even have to be a Mac user, but if you're a fan of the Magic Trackpad, which I will admit is a pretty cool device. They're nice trackpads. These are normally about $100. It's an older version of it, but this is the Trackpad MC380LL-A, and it's about $100 on Amazon, and you can get it for $68.99 over at Woot. So that's the kind of wholesale Amazon subsidiary that they have. It is the first generation of it, but a pretty good price for $69 over at Woot.
Are they any good with Windows?
Yeah, I believe so. They're Bluetooth, so they'll connect to any device. I believe. I could be wrong, but it's not. I don't believe it's any sort of proprietary system there. Next up, Amna, you got a pop up on your screen there.
I do.
Google Chrome, something.
No! It's that stupid thing. I don't know how to stop these. There.
Okay. Perfect.
We'll deal with it.
It came back again.
Next up, I'm pissed because 3 weeks ago I had a 30,000 milliamp power bank on here from the same company, Romoss, ROMOSS, and now they've got a 40,000 milliamp version of the same power brick for just $38, which is a little bit more than I spent. The cool thing about this one, and you can't see it well on the picture, it actually has a display that will show you the power percentage, the voltage, and the amperage. So instead of having just a couple of blinking lights that tell you the power that's left, this one has actually got a screen left on it. A screen on it. And in terms of ports, it's got a USB-A for input and output. It's got a USB-C, a USB-A, and then 2 USB Type A's for charging other devices. The max that this thing will do is 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 2 amps, or 12 volts at 1.5 amps, unless you're using the USB C port, which can give you 5 volts at 2 amps and some other various things as well. So if you're looking for a power bank, these things are very bulky. They're large. They're heavy. But if size and weight are not a problem, this thing is unbeatable for the price of just $38. So you can check that out over at Amazon. Next up,
does it use an adapter cable for the 12 volts? Like what is the you got USB-C and A.
USB-C and Type A. So no, it'll do 12 volts straight out of a USB-A port. But
it's an adapter.
USB-C has a protocol to negotiate the voltage, so you can get 5 or 12 on the same wire.
Yeah, no cables, no adapter.
No, but I mean, whatever the 12 volt device is you're powering, say it was something that's a cigarette lighter adapter.
Yeah,
is there a cable that goes from USB-A to cigarette lighter.
Yeah, you could buy that, presumably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, just how versatile it is.
Yeah, it is super versatile. As Gall mentioned, it'll negotiate. It'll figure out what it needs to do right into the device. Really, really hard price to beat. This thing, it says it'll charge an iPhone 13 9 times, a Samsung S10 8 times, and an iPad Pro nearly 3 times. So you're talking about a beast of a device available over at Amazon. Next up, for folks that maybe have a lot of devices that they're always trying to charge, here is a device known as the OneBeat, and it's a dual outlet cover, so it will use up 2 outlets, 2 gangs on a wall receptacle, and what you get in turn is 5 regular 120 volt 3-prong outlets, and then you also get 2 USB Type A's and a USB Type C. That'll do a total of 3.1 amps with those various devices charging. It's got let's see, 1,800 watts worth of joule protection. You can pull a maximum of 1,800 watts on it, 15 amps. That's the limit of most of those receptacles anyway. And a max of 5 volts at 3 amps for the USB Type-C port. So a pretty nice device if you're trying to charge a couple of things and you're always trying to juggle wall warts and various chargers. You can check that out on Amazon for just $10.50. There is a promo code though, so click the link in the specials for that. All right, next up, if you're looking for a headset, HyperX makes a lot of really cool gaming peripherals, including mice and keyboards and all of that stuff. Here is their Cloud Stinger gaming headset that they claim will work with a whole bunch of different devices. Now, it is a wired device, so it has a 3.5 millimeter jack that you can plug into a combo jack on a laptop. You can also plug it into a phone, an Xbox or PS4 controller that has the headphone jack as well. It's a very versatile device. This is normally a $50 headset. You can save 62%. It's just $19. It also has a microphone on it built over at Amazon, so you can check that out there. Next up, we talk a lot about AI, and now we've got an AI cleaning vacuum. This is using a couple of interesting technologies, including LiDAR, which is what the correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this what like Tesla's and some of these other cars use to detect human presence? The LiDAR radar technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It means that it's not relying on video alone, right? So it should also work okay in a non-lighted room or beneath the sofa or something like that.
Yeah. LiDAR's a type of radar technology that you see in cars and things like that.
Mainly for ranging.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for a robot like this, by the way, it's a vacuum. So you'd want it to be able to do ranging and stuff like that. This is the Shark AI. Of course, they've got that right in the title there, so it can get its buzzword selling. This is the RV 2002. It is Wi-Fi compatible as well with LiDAR navigation. This is normally $250 on sale for $169. I kind of put this in here as a joke, but if you're in the market for a Roomba style device, I know Katie was looking at one. This is pretty hard to beat for $169. This has got a lot of cool devices, and Shark is a very reputable vacuum cleaner brand. I have a regular Shark vacuum.
Order replacement parts in advance.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was about to suggest. If you buy this, make sure you can.
Welcome to Triangle B&I. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. If you ever need help in that loud and crowded digital world, folks, the Drago and his team of professionals at Oak City Tech can help you get your message out to your current clients, more importantly, your future clients. So if you have any issues getting that message out, whether it's a website, an email campaign, go to oakcitytech.com. Tell Drago and his team what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help you. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle B&I, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with B&I, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Each week, about 31 chapters, around 520 or so business owners and sales professionals get together to help each other grow their businesses. And our small business success story this week, we are going out to the beach to our friends in the coastal region. And we have Brooke Skipper from Tropical Storm Chapter meets Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. at Angus Grill in Wilmington. Brooke and her husband Devin own Salt Air Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Good afternoon, Brooke. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's life at the beach?
It's good. A little chilly here for us, but it's good.
All right. Are you a chilly or hot kind of liver?
I prefer the summer.
Do you? Okay. So you can hang out at the beach?
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. So 11 plus years you've owned Salt Air, and word on the street is you're a badass business owner in the Wilmington region.
Okay.
Got that from
I'll take it.
got that from very reliable sources. We are in transition season, and so we're 74 for a high today or something like that, but overnight 51, 52. So we're right in that range of turning our AC off, maybe turning our heat on. So what's a couple things we need to keep in mind to do that properly?
Sure. So we tell everyone this is the best time to have your maintenance done before it really gets cold. Have your maintenance performed by a professional. We would love to take care of it if you're in the Cape Fear area, but that's the number one thing I would say is to have your coils cleaned, your drains cleared, that sort of thing. And the other biggest tip that we give is to change your filters. It's such an easy thing to do, but it can save you a lot of money in service calls that could have been avoided, and of course efficiency for your system.
When I was visiting your chapter, I think it was 2 weeks ago, you reminded us what will happen when we turn our heater on. And when you don't do something for a while, it's not like you forget about it. It's just not top of mind. And so people will smell what when they turn their heat on for the first time?
Oh, yeah. The first time your heat cuts on, you'll hear or you'll smell kind of a burning smell, just this odd smell. And it's just the dust burning off of those heaters and heat strips. And it's totally normal. Of course, if it goes on for a prolonged period of time, definitely give us a call. But that is normal.
So help us with some myths. Every industry has these. So we think if the room temperature is 65 overnight and I wake up in the morning, I'm freezing, naturally, if I turn the heat immediately up to 74, the house will heat quicker. Not quite the case, right?
No. And of course, it's going to take a little bit for the home to heat up, even if you cut that heat on immediately and jack the temperature up 5-10 degrees. It's also going to cost you a little bit more on that heating bill. So, if you're going to adjust the temperature on your thermostat, do it 1 to 2 degrees at a time.
You talk about the filters. Another thing, these are usually, they're out of sight, out of mind. And sometimes, like in our house, on the bottom floor, there's a plant, not right in front of the grill, where the filter goes, but you don't see it when you walk by. And then upstairs, it's on the ceiling, right, drop down. Twice a year, once a year, how often should we hit those?
For filters, we say every 30 days. A good reminder is when you get your power bill, change your filter.
All right.
There's a lot of programs out there. We even have a shop on our website that you can go to, anyone, anywhere, and can purchase filters and set them up on an auto ship. So you can get it once a month or once every 3 months, get 3 filters and change those out. But every 30 to 60 days is pretty typical if you have pets or, a big family, a lot of traffic in your home. I would suggest 30 days.
Now, you have one of those seats in B&I that we love hearing about, but we really don't need you until we need you. But when we need you, we really need you, right? Like 7 o'clock on a Thursday night, right? 9 a.m. on a Sunday, things like that I know you love doing. What are things, so you talk about the filter, what other things can we do at home to extend the life of the air conditioning unit?
The biggest thing is to have a maintenance plan with a contractor that's coming out at least twice a year to clean your system and check it out. Usually those folks can also go ahead and give you a heads up of things that may need attention in the near future so that you can go ahead and budget for that or plan for that. But even if you just replaced your system, we hear this a lot, I just replaced my system, I won't need you guys for 10 years. Still maintain that system. Even having a maintenance contract from day one on a new install is going to prolong the life of the system.
Another thing I've seen as I walk and drive around neighborhoods is beautiful plants growing right over the HVAC unit, which is a no-no, right?
It is a no-no. We see that a lot too. Fences, plants, bushes, anything that can kind of hide that eyesore. But if you want plants, or you have your system, maybe in some sort of flower bed that you've created around it, that's fine, as long as you keep about a 3-foot clearance around all sides. It'll help keep those leaves and limbs and that sort of thing out of the system. But your HVAC tech will also love you, because he or she can get to it a lot easier.
I'm sure you've had some of your staff has had to wrestle with beautiful plants, just lovely, but just not thought out that they were put there, right?
Yeah. It's a conversation we just have with the homeowner. Hey, we're going to do our best to avoid these plants. They are a little close. Maybe when it comes, season that it's safe to move these plants, maybe consider it.
You've been at this almost 11 and a half years, if my math is correct. How does one get into the HVAC world? How did you do that?
Well, I married into the HVAC world.
Wow, I didn't see that one coming.
I actually went to school to be a teacher and did that for a while. But Devin and I started Salt Air about 6 months before we got married. He's been in the HVAC world for about 18 years now. Worked for a couple of other companies, and we had talked about starting starting Salt Air. And when that opportunity came, it's kind of, why not? We're pretty naive, young and naive, and didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. But it's been a success, and every day's different, and we're constantly learning new things and growing. And so it's been good. It's not been an easy journey, but it has been good.
What was the one thing, as you did the pro and cons list, talked about timing and just everything that goes into this? What were the one or two things that made you guys realize this is the time to do this, so let's go ahead and make the move?
I don't think there was any one thing that really pushed us. And to be honest, we didn't do a pros and cons list, Mike. We again, we were young. I think I was, I was about 23 at the time. Devin was 27. And things weren't quite working where he was. He just wasn't happy with the company he was with. And again, it's something we had talked about for a while, dreamed about for a while. And we just said, go ahead, let's go for it.
Did you quit your teaching job full time at that point?
No, you don't make a lot of money when you're just starting out. So someone had to have, bring in some consistent funds there. But now I taught for about 2 years before coming on to Salt Air full time. So we had about a 2-year period where it was Devin and, a couple other guys working with him. And then I wasn't happy teaching, just, was not the career for me that I thought it would be. And so, moved over to help kind of on the office admin side of things, and never left.
When you guys opened, you were still teaching. What was your role with Salt Air during, I guess, once you got out of school for the day?
So I didn't really have a role with Salt Air early on. I was still figuring out what it was like to be a teacher and everything that was involved in that. And I coached sports year round as well. So I had a pretty full load at the time and couldn't really handle anything else. But Devin was doing a lot of travel work too at the time with Salt Air. So there wasn't a ton of admin work that needed to be done outside of, we had a bookkeeper and accountant at the time. But Devin manned the phone himself.
Did you guys see each other very much that first year?
No. we saw each other on the weekends and in the evenings and that sort of thing. But yeah, there were times where Devin would be out of town for 3 or 4 days for work, and maybe I was in Greensboro coaching a tournament or something like that. But when we were together, we made the most of it.
What sports did you coach?
I coached volleyball.
So you played somewhere, high school, UNCW?
I played in high school. Did not play college ball, but did play in high school, and kind of kept up with it for fun. There's volleyball leagues here at the beach, of course, in the area, and it's a sport I enjoy.
Are you a beach volleyball player?
For fun, yes. Yep. Not a professional, but I do enjoy it.
Are you still able to find time to do that?
Sometimes, not during the summer, not during our busy months, but when I have some time.
When you guys rolled out the first truck, it was Devin and who with him?
Oh, just Devin to start. And it was that way for a while before we were able to make our first hire. So
okay, and then how long did it take to get that first hire?
Probably about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. We brought on a second person.
All right, and how many people are there now?
31.
Figured out something, didn't you?
We did.
Now, did you probably knew who your competition was, but then with all small business owners, then we go into that mode of, okay, why am I different? What helped with the growth for you guys?
I think our level of communication that we offer our clients, when they call into our office, whether it's a commercial or residential customer, they receive a confirmation that their appointment has been made, and we confirm that appointment beforehand. They get a text or email that their tech's on the way, and then in that text, there's a link they can actually follow along and watch the tech as they travel to their home. Once the service call's done, we do some follow up after and ask how was their experience. If it wasn't 5 stars, why wasn't it? Can we have some feedback? How could we have done better? How can we improve? So we really care about the customer experience. I know that people don't want to have to call us. Yeah. So it can be kind of nerve-wracking. It can be expensive. There's a lot of unknown if the system is not working and it's 100 degrees outside and they have a home full of family from out of town. It's stressful. So we really work to make sure that our customer has the best experience and as low stress of an experience as they can.
And I don't get to give testimonies for everyone on the show, but I can give testimony for Salt Air. I think it's probably about 6 weeks ago, I was staying at Paula and Steve's house in Wilmington when I was going to visit Chapters down there, and Paula and Steve were nice enough to let me stay at their house. And sure enough, the AC didn't kick on, and I believe I got back to their house about 5-ish, called Steve. They called you. I think your guy was out about 6:15 to the house. And that was on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It always happens. It's always, when folks get home and it's in the middle of summer or, late January when it is cold for like 3 to 4 weeks here. Yep. It's always when you get home from work that you figure it out.
Well, and what I like about, and I've told people this before, so I don't have a problem telling you this now that other people can hear it. What I like about the service world, and somebody shows up at my front door just dressed like they gave a crap. That's how low the bar is set. Is just, if you have a collared shirt on, just tuck it in. I know you may have had a tough day. I get that. But just don't show up with grease everywhere getting ready to walk into my house. And your guy, the truck properly labeled, well done. He's got his, uniform shirt on. And you guys do another thing that a lot of folks don't do, is he put booties on his shoes when he walked into their house. And again, it's those little things, though, that make a difference. I'm sure you get comments on that as well.
We do, and I make sure that they are bright lime green shoe covers. So, people notice things like that. But it is to, protect our customer's home, and for our guys up in the attic or that sort of thing, we got to protect his clothes too.
But that matters. Those are those little things that matter. So I've enjoyed that very much. The experience. He was there, I think maybe an hour. The drip pan had clogged up is what it was, and it's a simple fix for him. But again, you guys were out there in about an hour and 15 minutes on the end of the workday, shall we say. For husbands and wives that co-own a business and work together, I only have two questions, Brooke. What do you talk about at the end of the day, and who breaks the tie?
So we get asked about working together a lot. What is it like? Or I can't understand how you work together. I could never work with my husband or my wife. Or, but Devin and I work on different parts of the business. We do see each other a lot, but there are days where we don't see each other, from the hours of 5 a.m. when we're up to, when we get home at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. But we work well together. We work as a team. And when things need to be handled at work, we handle those. But there are times, after work when we do finally see each other, we're sitting down at dinner. There's things that we have to discuss, of course, about work. But we do make a very conscious effort to kind of talk about what we need to, and then put work away for the day and talk about other things. So.
And who is more likely to go, oh, hun, let me check one more work email before I go to bed?
I'm going to say Devin.
Good, because he's not here.
Yeah.
That'll work. So who breaks the tie when a decision needs to be made?
I guess it depends on the department. I mean, if it's something marketing, financial related, office staffing related, I think that would be myself. If it's field or technical questions, then Devin for sure.
How are your skills on a service call?
Let's just say I would have to call tech support more than the average technician. So,
do you have a wrapped truck that you drive?
I do not.
Oh, see,
I do not.
Brooke, to really round this out, I think business owners should have their face on the side of their vehicle so everybody can see who they are. I think that would go well. It might grow the business a little bit more. You'll appreciate that tip one day.
I think the cost of my wraps might go up if I have to put my face on them.
Just on yours. It's like the realtor, SUV when you see a picture on the side. I know that's a tough decision to make. Put your face.
I'll stick with the decals and the front plate. How about that?
I read online how I believe it was Devin came up with the name Saltair for the company. But if you want to share that story, I think it's a good one.
Yeah. So Devin is the one that came up with the name Saltair, and we kind of had that picked out even before we knew we wanted to start Saltair. We're officially going to start Saltair. And the reason for the name is Devin grew up in Wilmington. All of his family is from the Brunswick County area. And to him, when he was on his travels and stuff, when he comes home, and you smell that salt air, to him, it smelled like home. And so Saltair seemed like a good name and definitely a good fit for the coastal Carolina area.
I thought it was a wonderful story because we don't live at the beach. We know it, I think, when we smell it, but if we're not there for 4 or 5 years at a time, you kind of forget about that. So, but I think that's cool. And I think he also said, or the article said, he didn't want to be XYZ Heating and Air Company, right?
Yeah, we didn't want there's a lot of family names, and I think that's wonderful for those companies. Yeah. It just wasn't a good fit for us. We wanted it to kind of the business name to kind of stand for itself, be its own brand.
Now, I like stories on that. The other thing I've learned about B&I folks is the amount of time they give back to the community. So you're involved in a couple things. One is Ducks Unlimited, which we will get to. I have a couple questions on that. Okay. The other one is WARM, Wilmington Area Rebuilding Ministry. Now, what do you guys do there, and how'd you get into that?
Sure. So WARM is a local nonprofit started here in Wilmington. Again, that acronym stands for Wilmington Area Rebuilding Ministry. And WARM actually started after Hurricane Fran, making emergency repairs to homes in the area that were damaged from the hurricane. Now we still do that. They still respond. We had a lot of work after Florence here just a few years ago and Hurricane Matthew, but they also do repairs for homeowners that maybe are low income or veterans, maybe they're disabled. They have really worked hard to own their home and maintain their home as best they can, but maybe at the time they need a ramp. They can't get up and down the stairs, or maybe there's bathroom repairs or flooring repairs that are needed, but they don't have the means to make those repairs. And they can call WARM or reach out to warmnc.org and apply for help through there.
Very nice. How often do you guys get involved with any of those type calls?
So I actually serve on the board of directors for WARM and have for the past 5 years. Served as board chair for 2 of those years, and we bring out the team to volunteer. We try to go quarterly and work on a project with them. But we get called out if they need an opinion on the heating and air, or maybe the heating and air is out. I really try to be more of a resource for them and connect them with other trades that can help. So
very nice. Again, that's one of the neat things about BNI. The type of folks in BNI is giving back to the community. So you were 2 years on the board and 4 months as your chapter president. Did I get that math right? I'll let that.
Yeah.
I'll let that one go by. The other thing I've been told is that you love to duck and waterfowl hunt with your sister.
Yes. So we, growing up, our dad really got us involved in the outdoors and hunting, pretty much anything. And it's something that we enjoy doing with him. And my sister and I, we still go on hunts every year. Some of those hunts we're going with other friends or family, but we try to make it a point to go on a girls' hunt every year too. So
very nice. Does she live in the area?
She lives in Raleigh.
Which is, you're from the Fuquay area, correct?
Yep, just south of Fuquay. Yep.
All right. Plenty of a hunting ground out around there, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We grew up on a farm there in Harnett County. So
nice. How old were you when you? And I'm not taking a stand on this. I just think it's a good story. How old were you when you first started shooting guns?
Oh, I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Yeah.
Do you bow and arrow hunt as well?
I have not hunted with my bow in a few years, but that's something I did growing up as well. And I still have my bow and practice when I can, but you need to practice a lot to be able to make that shot when it counts.
I would assume that's considerably harder than shooting a gun.
Yes. Yes.
Did
a
you
little more involved?
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Do you fish much?
I do. I hunt more than I fish.
All right.
Devin is a big fisherman, loves going fishing around here. So, yeah.
Your favorite fish to catch and eat is what?
Oh, catch and eat.
Or just eat.
I would say, do what?
Or just eat.
Or just eat. Tuna for sure.
Okay. Now, how big a family out that way did you marry into?
So Devin has quite a few cousins and aunts and uncles around here. So it's not a small family. We'll put it like that.
My wife, her dad has a massive South Texas family, and it was my hope and dream just to see a face and remember who they went to. Thinking about all the names, no chance. No chance.
Yeah.
So how often do you guys get together, and how big are those reunions?
So we get together, the big groups, probably holidays are the biggest times we get together with them. But we get together with his, the family that's close by. Gosh, probably every couple months or so.
Okay. Good eating.
Yeah, always.
Good stories. They get better each year, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling those now. So, you and Devin are also doing a home improvement project. I just love hearing these stories. Tell us how the weekend went.
Yeah, so we're remodeling our bathroom, master bath, and it's taken a few weekends, and we've got our shower and tile folks in there today. So hopefully they can get their portion wrapped up this week, but we'll see.
Blueprints, negotiations, all that stuff prior to breaking ground?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Now, did you tell him what it was going to look like when it was done?
Yeah, I had a good idea of what I wanted it to look like, and he's just like, I just want updates and more space. So,
and of course, he agreed with everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You, a couple of years ago, you were named to the 40 under 40 in the Cape Fear area, and you were considerably younger than 40, if my math is correct. Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
So, thank you.
How did that come about?
Well, the Star News, local newspaper here in town, and the Wilmington Area Chamber of Commerce every year put out a list of the top 40 under 40 folks around town. And I was honored to be on that list back in 2020 for both, business world things and, of course, my work in nonprofits. So very honored. We didn't get to do a big, celebration, of course, in 2020, but it was a big deal. And yes, I was a little younger than 40. And I'll say several people pointed that out, that because, of course, they publish your age.
Yep.
And folks love to point that out of I didn't realize, how old you were. And I just said thank you.
Yeah. I thought
it was a compliment.
Oh, yeah. When I read it and realized you were, younger than 40, I thought, dang right. It's like, that's what I do. Do you use that every now and then with family and friends to, it's like, hey, 40 under 40 here. I'm going first in line. Do you throw that out there any?
I do not.
Oh, Brooke, you should save it for one time.
Okay.
Just throw it just one time. If they remember, I don't know. Family tends to forget a lot of good things you do. So I don't know what yours is like, but Devin will remember. So one day, just if there's like one slice of pie left, like, dude, 40 under 40 here. Okay, I'm going to take that last.
Well, he won 40 under 40 in 2021. So, yeah, he won it the next year.
Okay, but you won it first.
True,
yeah.
True.
There's two trump cards right there. You also own Vent Ninjas. Okay, so here's another thing I learned, actually from being a homeowner for years, but also in B&I, is hardly anybody cleans their vents out in their house, right? Which is hopefully a lot of money for you to make. But the dryer vents can be a problem.
Yeah, so we started Vent Ninjas in 2021, and they do duct cleaning, dryer vent cleaning, indoor air quality products. And yes, dryer vents, they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. And people don't really think about it, but it's definitely good to clean them at least once a year.
Now, I have heard this before from some people. I forget, this was a couple years ago. I forget how we got on the conversation, but somebody mentioned they were walking outside of their house one day over by their dryer vent, and they saw lint and stuff coming out. And I told them, I don't think that's good.
They should definitely probably have it at least inspected, but that means it's time for it to be cleaned.
I think most people living in a house 5 years or less have never cleaned their dryer vent out.
No.
That would be my bet. So, always love when I have a married couple on the show to ask you, how did you and Devin meet? And do you both tell the story the same way?
Our stories are pretty close, but we actually met through mutual friends. I was took a friend, dropped him off at a restaurant, and hung out for a bit. And Devin was there, and I didn't know who he was. And anyway, I left because I had to head out and go to work. I was still in college at the time, and Devin asked, who I was with or if I was with anybody, and what's her name, and so we went out on a double date a couple weeks later, and been dating ever since.
So when did you know, this could be good?
Oh, I'm supposed to say right away, right?
You can say whatever you want. Nobody. It's just me and you, Brooke. You say whatever you want.
It was pretty soon. Pretty soon. Yeah, we got along really well and had a lot in common. So,
where was the first official date?
Our first official date, TGI Fridays, which actually is
solid.
not in town anymore.
No, I don't think it's in many towns anymore.
Yeah, I think the closest one might be Garner or something.
Is there still one up this way?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, I'd have lost that bet. Yeah, very nice. How long did it take for you guys to meet each other's parents?
Devin met my mom first. She came to town to see me here at school, and it was probably maybe 6 months. Within 6 months or so, we started dating.
And more importantly, did your sister give him the thumbs up? Like, you can keep dating him? Okay.
She did.
Didn't take long?
No. And now, we joke, we feel like Devin's been around forever, and so she treats him like a big brother.
Okay. So y'all are coming up on 12 years-ish being married?
Coming up on 11, May will be
11. Okay.
Married. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You started before the business. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
11 years. Boy, young love's wonderful.
Yeah.
I got a grandkid almost older than you've been married. So, anyways, I try to do intel work. I have a crack research team.
Okay.
I understand that you and Devin will no longer travel north of Baltimore.
Devin will.
Okay.
Devin will.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like every time I go up north, one, it's really cold, which I don't handle the cold too well, and I don't know, something always happens. So.
What happens when you head that way?
Let's see. Once we got in a car accident when we went out of town. One time we were going through Baltimore and went through, not exactly the safest area, not a very savory area, and it was just not good. So yeah.
Will you travel south?
Oh, all the time.
Okay. All right.
I'll go north too, but it just seems like every time we do, something happens.
So from now on, it better be on an airplane, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys get around?
I'm just better prepared.
There you go. And being business owners, do you guys get to vacation much?
Not a ton. We do at least do something every year for our anniversary, and we'll go on a couple of hunting trips in the fall, winter. Some of those together, some of them we go separate, but we try to get away when we can. Can
you decide, like today, that, hey, we're going to take Friday off and make it a long weekend? Can you guys ever pull that off, stuff like that?
Yeah, we can. We definitely, if it's kind of within the week, we just have to really plan and adjust our schedule. A lot of times our schedules, meetings and that sort of thing is about 2 weeks out. So we would probably have some adjusting to do, but we can make it happen if we needed to.
There were a lot of businesses that sent their employees home to work during COVID, and we know HVAC people, they can work from the home, but they can't work at home. How did you guys handle that transition going into COVID and then coming out of it, mostly coming out of it as we are?
Yeah, we were actually really fortunate through COVID. Our business grew. Of course, early March, April, May, there were a lot of nerves, trying to navigate changes we needed to make. We sent out emails and kept our customers up to date on the changes we were making. because of hurricanes, we had already really made the change to be paperless and have everything on computers, tablets. You can handle everything through email, from payments to approving estimates, reviewing charges, anything like that. So we were fortunate in that we had that already set to go. The other changes made, we kept our staff in the office. Everyone has their own office and their own workspace, so they were able to stay separate from one another. We did close our office for a little bit to outside guests or visitors. Our vendors, of course, were able to drop off and make deliveries, but a lot of washing hands and tools and using hand sanitizer and that sort of thing. But we made adjustments to our scripts for our CSRs when folks would call in, just making that ask of, if there's anyone that's symptomatic or any other precautions we need to make, can we just make a note of those? And we just kind of adjusted and made pivots when we needed to.
As you've grown the company, how many different offices have you had? How many different buildings have you been in?
For Wilmington, we've been in, when we left the house, because we had our office at home for a while. Let's see, after that, we're in our third office here in Wilmington. So.
Right. And you guys cover 4-county area-ish?
So we cover Brunswick, Pender, New Hanover, so the 3 counties here in the Cape Fear area. And we do have an office in Southport. We're actually doing a ribbon cutting for it tomorrow, moving it into a larger space. So
nice. Okay, now I'm learning the Wilmington geography, and when I talk about Brunswick and Leland and Southport in that area, because we're trying to start a chapter in Brunswick, and then of course naturally I meet somebody from Leland so we can talk there. And then I meet somebody from Southport, and I brought it up in a meeting one day. It's like, hey, I met so-and-so there in Southport looking to start their chapter, and the 3 people that lived in Leland went, no, that's too far away. And so I'm learning that county geography and then I pulled it up one day on a map. It's like, wow, that's a long way away.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No.
I can make it to our Southport office in about 40 minutes. Going straight there. But yeah, Brunswick County is much larger than New Hanover. So yeah, making it from Leland to Southport or Leland to Charlotte or Ocean Isle, it's a little bit of a drive.
And that county runs north-south, and it's real.
Yes.
It's like an Olympic swimmer. It's very thin and very tall.
Yes.
It just, you look at it, it's like, okay, I get it now. The other thing I learned is, we don't go over the bridge.
You hear that a lot. Yeah. Both ways.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
To Brunswick and Brunswick to Wilmington.
And then sometimes it's brought in, we'll have to take the ferry. Yeah, we're not going to do that. What I like about getting to meet people, and you and I we've known each other, I think maybe 2 months, just when I come down to visit. So I always like hearing people's stories. There's a cool story about a keychain you have from your dad.
Yeah, you do some research, don't you, Mike?
Page 3 of Google, that's where the gold is. I tell people that all the time, page 3. So, but I thought it was a cool story.
Yeah, my dad gave me a keychain that he had and had carried for a little bit. It's just a Ducks Unlimited keychain he had from back when he was on the committee there in Harnett County. And when I was so involved in Ducks Unlimited, especially starting out, working on the chapter at UNCW, he was like, hey, you want this? And I don't know, it's one of those things, one of the last things he gave me. And so something I keep.
Very cool. Oh, I love those. Yeah, I've got a couple things from my folks and just love looking at them all the time. So your mom's side and your dad's side, are they both from Harnett County, and how many generations you go back to that world?
Yeah, so both families, they're from North Carolina, born and bred. So my dad's family is pretty big. I think I'm one of 13 or 14 cousins on my dad's side. So pretty large family, large gatherings on that side. And my mom, she has 2 sisters, and smaller on my mom's side, but still a good bit of family in the area.
Yeah, my dad had a brother. My mom was an only child, so my family size growing up was my family size. I didn't,
Yeah.
And I've got 3 cousins from my dad's brother, and we didn't really know, or 4. We didn't really know them a bunch. They lived in Cleveland, and then I met my wife's family. It's like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you remember all those names, but there's a family reunion one time. My father-in-law was born and raised in Banquette, Texas, which is south of Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And there must have been, I swear to you, there was 100 people there. Now, it probably was only 70, but unreal with the cousins and the other second cousins and all that. It's kind of fun, but it's nerve-wracking when you're the one marrying into that, trying to remember who's who.
You eventually figure it out.
Yeah, I'll just like I said, happy to get the faces and know who they went with, because the names, I saw them about once every 5 years.
Yeah.
All right, so the people listening and watching today, what's the first thing they need to do to go check out their HVAC unit now that they've been educated by the show today?
See when they change their filters last.
All right.
Biggest thing. And then just call a local company that they trust, or get a recommendation from a neighbor, and have someone come out and check over their unit and make sure it's at least an annual thing, if not biannually.
The air filters at the Home Depots of the world, you can get these HEPA filters, you can get this, that, and the other. What do we really need to make sure it's done correctly?
Sure. So we recommend a filter with a MERV 8 rating. It's just the rating of the filter, number of pleats, that sort of thing. But we recommend MERV 8. They go all the way up, past MERV 11, I think. But for a standard residential home, MERV 8 filter is good.
So the last tip you're going to give everybody listening is love to hear stories from female business owners, because I know it's not easy, because my kind is stupid and closed-minded and try to oh, wait a minute, so I hate that. So I love meeting successful small business women. Give the folks a tip that may be out there thinking about, oh, I could never do this, I don't know about that. What's a couple things to keep in mind for them to let them know that they can be a small business owner?
Just doing your research on your industry and your profession, and making yourself an expert. And if you don't know, don't pretend like you do, or just give an answer that you think might be correct. It's okay to say that you don't know. If someone asks me a question, I'll tell them I don't know, but I will find the answer and get the correct information to them. So that would be my biggest tip, is just, if you want to start your own business, that's wonderful. It will open so many doors for you, but make sure that you're constantly doing your research, and make sure you're a lifelong learner, always researching, always reading, becoming an expert in your field.
I love the tip. And I'm with you. It's okay to say don't know, but I think I can have that answer to you by the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get great confidence from people that tell me that. It's like, okay, I'm going to get my question answered.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the folks in the Wilmington area, Salt Air, please give them a call. They are truly one of the leaders in the area. But also, if you want to meet a quite entertaining, successful group of small business owners at Brooks Chapter, it is Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. at Angus Grill. What was the thing that drew you to that group?
Well, I visited Tropical Storm B&I first several years ago, 5-6 years ago. Visited a couple other ones, but there's just a really good vibe in our group, and we get along with each other, and truly take the time to get to know one another and build those relationships. I use so many people in my group for, health insurance. There's a flooring expert, a painter. There's so many folks in my group that I can also use as a resource. if I don't use them personally or for my business, if a question comes up or someone asks me something, I can refer them out and be confident that those folks are going to be taken care of. So.
And what I've learned from your group is, for the most part, everybody's fair game during the meeting should they say something dumb, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have heard you and others just take liberties with the president when he stands up and talks and says something. So, and
Yeah.
John, friend of the show, he's been on. So, yeah, but it's fun to watch. But you want at 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning, you better be entertained if you're going to want to stay in a group. So that's one of the things I love about your group.
That's right. We have a good time.
Oh, you do. So, anyways, folks, if you are in the Cape Fear area, learn that as well. Had to learn exactly what that would involved. But if you're in the Cape Fear area, need some help with your HVAC, electrical, vent ninjas, plumbing, something to do with your house, give Brooke a call. We've been putting her number up here during the show, so give them a call. I know you'll be in good hands. Brooke, thanks for coming out on the show today, and I hope your master bathroom turns out as you wished.
I hope so too. It will. Thank you for having me, Mike.
You bet. And we'll see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.
All right. Good stuff, Brooke. Love the stories. That's what's made the show what
Order
it is.
replacement parts and check
Never
that
mind
first.
replacement parts, supplies.
Supplies. That's your-
That's what I mean.
Filters,
yeah, that's what I
things
mean.
like
Yeah,
Supplies.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Supplies.
Take it for what it's worth. It's got a whole bunch of great reviews on Amazon. It's got 502 reviews, and it's got a 4.2 stars. So
Yeah.
people seem to be happy with it. I'm
Just to
gonna
not
buy
have
one.
it smacking into furniture is nice.
Yes,
Because
it
if
is.
it detects it, it stops before it hits something. That's great.
And like a lot of these other vacuums, you can set no-go zones and things like that as well. So yeah, Shark, very reputable brand, and you can check that out over at where was this? Walmart. That's where that's up. And finally, scrap that. Never mind. The last item is out of stock now. It was on stock. It was in stock this morning, and it is now out of stock. It was an Acer laptop, and it is now out of stock online. So.
All right.
It was a really good price, $250. It was on sale for $100, but it is now out of stock. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
And that's
Sorry.
specials.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. A lot of cool
Thank
stuff
you,
this
thank
week.
you,
I'm
thank
excited. It's been the last couple of weeks headed towards Halloween and Thanksgiving have been great. because
Maybe you'll be able to negotiate with Amnon to get your budget improved so you can actually buy the stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-huh.
I'd
I've
be
been
all in
trying
on.
for years to get him to pay for it. He won't.
I mean, if he'll buy this AI vacuum for me, I'll be happy to test it out. It'll drag the cat when the cat misses the litter box, it'll drag the shit all throughout the house. It'll be great.
Need to train the cat to ride on top of it too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you could also put I think Katie was joking about putting an A word or a Google Home on top of this thing as well. So it'll play music as it drives around your house. So yeah, check out the link in the specials.
I mean, speaking of AI, I there's something I want to discuss. I sent you guys a link a couple of days ago about music industry. Somebody from the music industry complaining about AI in music production. The article itself was about AI tools used in musical production, but most of the comment section of what I've sent, it was a Reddit thread, was about AI generated music and AI generated content. One of the running jokes there was the article itself was probably AI generated because it seems like it's very repetitive. What I wanted to raise a point, and all that repeating notion of everything something AI says something is going to affect the industry, right? And by the way, I totally agree. It is going to disrupt any industry it goes into. AI is going to disrupt probably law. It's going to disrupt
anything, anyway. Yeah,
art, right? I mean, we're already talking about self-driving cars, right? So drivers is a job that we're going to see less and less and less of. But here we're talking about creative, and I think on the creative side, this is very interesting because, and you get to see it today in popular media a lot more when you're looking at science fiction of how this will play into effect. So the way I see it, there's AI is going to affect the music industry and the movie industry later in a very profound way, because we're going to sit down, right, and wherever we are, and we're going to ask our smart assistant, play me some music I like, right? And we're going to give it some identifying traits, and it's not even going to pull from the existing pool of music. It's going to generate whatever soothes our ear, right? And I see it as a very exciting technology and a very exciting promise. But I also see how and why the music industry is like very fearful of that, because it is going to take out the paycheck from one particular aspect of the music industry that I think nobody here really likes. And that's the music production companies, right? Mm. So when you see that, is like, how do you envision this affecting your, let's say it happens within the next 5 to 10 years, and not, my guess it'll be a bit more, like more than 30 to 40 years when we see it really disrupt things. But when you hear about AI generated content, right, how does it make you feel? Because I am ecstatic if it comes and stays, and if I can control the AI, I can ask it what to generate, right? I want to see a movie about aliens who dress in pink and spread love across the universe, and that's the movie I want to watch, right? While another one will want to watch a horror movie, right? And with different aspects, right? And everybody will generate their own. Everybody will be their own director. Everybody will be their own creator, which I find it very, very alluring, very, very accessible. And then they're going to be the superstars, those who generate like fantastic content that everybody want to watch, right?
Pink Alien is a horror movie to me. I'm kidding. I'm saying if you had a pink alien, that would be a horror movie for me.
Well, yeah, maybe.
That'd be true. That would be like having a clown in it. It'd be scary, even though it's
that was just an example.
Yeah, but that's the idea. It's like everybody's gonna do. I chose an out there idea, right? Because I'm sure nobody else wants to watch that, right? And so I will get the movie that I want to watch. It's a bit like dreaming, when somebody tells you about the dream and say yes or what, it affects you emotionally. It doesn't affect me when you're telling me about it. But so there's going to be these the content that we want to consume for ourselves. I mean, we have some of it today with video games, right? Everybody plays their video games, but we also have those who everybody want to watch them play the video game, right? It's something like that. But think about, you are dictating to a computer the story that you want to see, and it plays it out in front of your eyes immediately, right? I mean, I understand the dangers, but I also say, as a technology, right, this is exactly what we want. So somebody will make this.
Well,
how do you see that future?
It's funny that
it's scary or not?
It's funny that you bring this up, because there has been a similar outrage isn't the right word to use. There's been a similar style of event going on in the art industry, and it's happened it's a lot further progressed along than it is in the music industry. With and Katie even talks about, she uses one of these services to generate images, and then she goes into Photoshop and cleans them up. Right. There's been a big concern that it is eventually going to get rid of artists and stuff like that, which I don't think it will. I mean, AI is only
going to get away with industrial artists, those who create content by volume. I am definitely, I am sure 100%. Yes, it is going to cut into that market for sure.
Yeah, because
and guess what? And then there'll be something else that those people will be needed for besides that side of it.
Right.
This is the inevitable. It's a lot easier to do with art than it is to do with music.
We're starting with something static, and then we're moving to something dynamic. It's going to change. I think music is next, and cinema is later. So
yeah. I mean, you can. There's a lot of people that are trying to talk poorly about it, and that's fine. But the reality is, it's what's going to happen. So you can like it or not, but these are the future trends.
So is this at the Dragon Lair stage? Remember Dragon Lair?
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Lair, which was the interactive video disc game.
Remember that?
Because you could actually choose a path. You get to a certain point, and you would choose, I'm going to go this way, and then the game would take a second to load, and then it would go down that path. It's kind of cool. That's what I remember as far as interactive.
Right. So think about something like that, right? Like a choose your own path adventure. But here, the path, they're not even laid out, right? Whatever your mind thinks of, you will get that. Now, granted, most of what will be automatically generated will be crap. I mean, even although I asked for it, it won't be what I wanted. Because even in art, as artists, they progress, right? And they draw something, and then they modify it, right? And they change it. Sometimes they overpaint on it completely and go a completely different direction. It takes effort to create something that is worth looking at, worth appreciating, right? But the fact that it's going to be very easy to produce an outcome, right? Just by, explaining what you want and not needing the skills to actually do it. Yes, it can be terrifying for those who have honed those skills for ages. And I do not there is nothing here that I say that is useless skill. It's an amazing skill. And I think those with the amazing skills, right, they are still going to have a place in society, especially in art, because I think this is going to just create a new market. There's going to be the wider market, the one that we call pop culture today, right? That is going to be filled with this AI generated stuff, because that's going to be the cheapest way to produce anything, right? And then there's going to be human generated stuff. which is going to be The Fringe. It's going to be, I mean, it's scary.
It could be that the human generated stuff, that there are people out there that just may not have the imagination to make the most of this. And you have creative people who develop content using this method that other people can enjoy.
That's what I'm saying. It's definitely gonna serve both, right? It's never going to be, even with AI generated content, you're gonna have the one was the Stephen King was the we all know how to write, right? We all have the ability to write. Once we pass high school, we have a very, very well established vocabulary. We can continue studying, and we can continue to hone our traits and our craft, right? But those who can tell a story, right? Those are unique individuals, and those who are successful in telling a story are also unique individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Now they are going to have to compete with people with less skill, but wilder imaginations, right? Because I'm going to ask the computer to tell me an audiobook, to play an audiobook about blah, 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 something. And the computer in the style of, this and this and this author, and the computer is going to generate something, right? That might be, way more interesting than what a Stephen King will write. And that might gain tractions with other people who find it, because I'm sure it will also be shared, right? So it takes away the middleman who is busy in the production, right? It takes away the publishing house. It takes away the editors. It takes away all of that, right? You take that whole layer, and you get something more direct, something like YouTube for books, YouTube for music, YouTube for, right, stuff. Today, human beings generate whatever's there. Now it's going to be a human plus a computer that is going to generate that.
All right. This is nice theories. I need something now. Right now. The article goes that the RIA said that there are services that purportedly using artificial intelligence extract, or rather copy, the vocals, instrumental, and some portion of the instrumentals from a sound recording, and or generate, master, or remix all this stuff. Here's what I want. I'm getting sick and tired of YouTube. Send me a notice after every time that I upload the show that somebody put a copyright on it. The copyright is on the intro music. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
The intro music was purchased, paid for, and licensed to work, that I can use it forever on anything that I want. So it stopped, and then it started again. And now again, I have to go every time and dispute it and put a link to the license and say this.
When
and that.
you're disputing, are you talking with a human being?
No, they don't let you talk. It's a form.
Hold on. You don't. There are human beings who work that system.
Well,
now I understand we're using a free service and all that.
Let me don't go too deep into it. Every time when I send it in, 5 minutes later, it was dropped.
Okay.
Hannah is telling me, yeah, Dad, I see it on Facebook. Every one of your shows says that there is something in there that is copyrighted, and the next day they say it was dropped. I don't do anything with Facebook as far as disputing. Here is what I want. I want an AI that will fight AI. I want something. I want a program that will take that intro music that actually somebody sat down and played, and take it and what's the word? Regurgitate it.
Okay.
We'll work on it and create something that's just like it, but it's not it. I'm sure the AI of YouTube will not catch it.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
You're describing a problem that is not the problem with the music. You're describing a problem with YouTube's
AI,
system of
right.
determining.
Yeah.
So that the music isn't the problem.
Well, no, but at that point, if their AI is catching that music and say that somebody put already a copyright on it, and their AI is not that smart yet, so it doesn't know. Okay,
Their AI is incredibly smart.
Well, but if I have to dispute it every week and show a license, I mean, when you go and you get
again,
stuck,
that's a systems problem. The AI is
Right.
detecting the music. YouTube needs to be able to determine after you need to be able to upload that license.
Oh,
so
I
that it
do
doesn't
every
it
time, every week.
Listen to me, though.
Yeah.
You need to be able to upload that license in perpetuity so that it doesn't do it every
Well,
time.
I didn't figure out how to do that, but I figured.
I'm not sure they
if I
offer
could-
it. I'm saying that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's the problem is
Yeah,
not
but-
YouTube.
and-
the problem
and-
is not the music or the AI. It's that YouTube doesn't have a way for you to set and determine that that's what that music is. Plus, you need the AI to be able to find that music, because what if somebody takes your intro
Yeah.
and doesn't have the
Right.
license to it,
Right.
and then rips it off?
Right. Well, they don't have anything to upload to show them that they do.
Well,
I
that's
do,
so
and
that's
I
the thing.
do.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I just figured that if there'll
Systems
be
problem.
something, and the other question is again I'm talking about is why am I required to show that I do have it? Why don't that CD somebody that says that they own it have to show their side? I don't know. But anyway, it's not here nor there. I mean, I was just thinking of saying, wow, create new piece of music that's just like it. People will see it. It'll still sound familiar, but it will not be that particular production. I don't know if it exists, but it's interesting. Anyway, here's something a lot more important and information that people need to know. We went to a friend yesterday for a birthday, and some people that were there, one of the people that I know, Gal, do you know Hod? No.
Nope.
Okay, Hod has Parkinson, and he's very, the tremors are really, really bad, and he's in IT. And we were talking, and he was talking about the problem that he has is many times it's when he uses the mouse, it does like 3 times, 4 times, and he has to go fix it and all that. And I said, wow, what a great idea to have something that will fix that will have some. And he said, well, there is, but I don't know that they won't let you try it and all that. So I said, okay, I'm going to look. So I came home and I went, looked, and there's an item, a product called
Device.
Steady. It's not a device, it's software. Steady Mouse. And it's made for that. And they were
Right.
showing some videos how when first it's the mouse is like that with the line if you draw, and the next time with the software it's just perfectly round. And wow, with software, it doesn't even have to be a piece of hardware, because I was thinking something that will capture all these and will say, okay, these came out, just with, and he was saying that the problem is just with the mouse, not with the keyboard.